Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. Can somebody please confirm if my screen is visible and if I'm audible?
Confirm, ma'am.
Sorry?
Yeah, it's audible.
Yes, thank you for the confirmation. Um, my name is Mariam Shana. I work as Regulatory Affairs Specialist at Nexmo. I'm basically a biomedical engineer and I specialized in registration of medical devices, pharmaceuticals, consumer products in UAE and European Union. Our today's session is on MOHAP registration and drugstore setup. Most of our participants who joined the session is from logistics, healthcare, or pharma background. And the purpose of this session is to give important information regarding how MOHAP registration is done, what are the products that comes under their scope, requirements, and timeline. Basically, we are trying to give very important information that might help you in your day-to-day business. Now, if you have any questions during the session, you can message in the chat box, or we will have break in between the session and we will discuss it over there. Moving on, in today's session, we will see a brief introduction about our company, the services we offer, what is the importance of registration, the regulatory bodies that is here in UAE. We'll see about Emirates drug establishment, import permits, and drugstore setup. Before starting the session, I would like to talk to you about our company, Nextmove Shipping Services LLC. We are a freight forwarding company in UAE for past 5 years. We handle import, export for air, sea, and land transportation. We specialized in custom clearance for medical and medicine shipments. In the course of last 5 years, we constantly used to get inquiries about if we assist in providing registration, if we can help the customers with the import permits and so on. So that is when we started our sister concern, Nextmove Services. Under Nexmo Services, we do registration for medical equipments, medicines, consumer products, ESMA certification. We, other than registration, we also help customers in setting up their trade license, whether it's a mainland or free zone. So basically, our aim is to help any customer who want to start their business here in UAE. From setting up your trade license, in providing the MOH license, assisting for any kind of registration, whether it's a medical device or a consumer product, in doing the shipment, custom clearance until last delivery. So we are trying to provide a one-stop solution from setting up the license to delivering your product to the end user. Here is a quick glance about our services. Under Nextmove Shipping, we do import and export for both air and sea. We do custom clearance, land freight, warehouse, courier services, RoRo, and break bulk. Under Nextmove Services, like I said, we do registration of medical devices, medicines, consumer product with Dubai municipality. We help in setting up drugstore, scientific offices in mainland, free zone, and ESMA certifications. Now, this is a quick glance about services. We do offer more services. If you require any of the above mentioned service, you can always contact us. Now, starting with our topic, importance of registration. I have snippets of two news clips from College Times and Gulf News. You would have seen similar snippets from not just in UAE, any country. Now, here it states that up to 1 million. Sorry, can you please go on mute? Yeah, thank you. So, as I said, up to 1 million dirham fine is imposed on violators who has who has the products, like whether it be a medical or a consumer, those violators who bring the product without registrations. So it's not. With that being said, I'll tell you what is the importance of registration. If you're a distributor in UAE, whether it's a medicine, medical devices, or any products. Your concern about registration will be the cost. You might be wondering the amount of money you will have to pay to the authorities. Whereas if you are someone from a logistics background, you will be worried about the time that a registration is taking. Now, beyond the time and the cost that it takes, there are certain aspects why a registration is mandatory. So, can someone please tell me why do you think a registration is mandatory for any for the market? Don't I don't want you to go to just to consider just UAE alone. You can consider the whole scenario, and if you can tell me one good reason why a registration is mandatory, that will be really helpful. Okay, I'll start. Importance of registration. First thing is safety and quality. Imagine you are distributor of a medicine in UAE and you're bringing medicines and supplying it all over UAE, the patients are consuming it. Now, being a distributor, you need to make sure that the products that you bring to UAE is safe to use by the consumers. That the medicine that you bought doesn't cause any harm to the society, it doesn't cause any side effect, and it does not cause any harm to the society. So the key point for registration is safety and quality. The next important reason why a registration is mandatory is because consumer trust and credibility. Say like you are bringing medical equipment, you are selling that to a clinic or a hospital. Imagine that it's a laser device maybe, and being on the point of view of a consumer or a clinic or a hospital, they need to make sure that the product that you have bought is safe to use to the patients, that it doesn't have any harmful ingredient, it doesn't cause any allergies, it doesn't cause any harmful effect of the patient. Now that registration certificate of yours will build our trust in the consumers and your end users. Next is legal market access and custom clearance. If your products are registered, you don't have to take the unnecessary headaches of custom clearance. You can legally bring in your products. The next reason is traceability. Imagine you bring the products and in course of few months, the product cause some harmful effects to the patient. Now, if the product is registered, the authorities and the distributor can trace back and see who was the manufacturer, what are the harmful effect it has caused. And it is mandated by UAE federal law. As we saw in the previous slide, if the product is not registered and if you bring it to the market, there are high chances of having heavy penalties on your company. So these are the reasons why a registration is important. Whatever the product be, whether it's a medicine, whether it's a medical device, or if it is simply a drinking water. Here I have the list of regulatory bodies in UAE. We'll start with Emirates Drug Establishment. So we will initially clarify between what is Emirates Drug Establishment and MOHAP. Emirates Drug Establishment is the new, in short, EDE, is a new authority that regulates all medical devices, medicines, and all the products that was previously under the scope of MOHAP. If you see the website, Emirates Drug Establishment will take you to the MOHAP website. So throughout the session, I might use the topics interchangeably, the terms interchangeably, Emirates Drug Establishment and MOHAP. I haven't covered all the regulatory authorities that is here in UAE. And I haven't covered all the products that comes under their scope. Now, under EDE or MOHAP, we have medical devices, medicine, and herbal products. We will see what is their scope in detail in the upcoming slides. Under Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology, MOIAT, or previously it was named as ESMA. The products like drinking water, juices and beverage, milk product, energy drinks comes under their scope. We have Dubai Municipality. Under Dubai Municipality, consumer products comes under their scope, say like cosmetics or skincare, health supplements, perfumes, disinfectants, and food products. Now, if you are confused between what is a health supplement and what a medicine is something that you consume if you have any disease. Like, say, like you have a fever, you take a paracetamol or a medicine to reduce that temperature. Whereas health supplements are taken as part of your diet. Say, like you are deficient in a vitamin D, you take vitamin D supplement. Now that is supplementing the lesser vitamin you are having. It is not a medicine. It is supplementing your dietary in diet. Then we have TDRA, who regulates mobile phone, power bank, and similar electronic products. We have Ministry of Climate Change and Environment, which regulates pet foods. So that's a quick brief about why a registration is important, what are the regulatory bodies in UAE, and what are the products that comes under the scope. If you have any questions on any of the above products or the authorities, you may ask now. Shall I move on? Can I have a response, please?
Let's move on.
Thank you.
Can I have a go?
Yes.
Dr. Magana. This is a CPIP student safety, everything comes under DNA.
Yes, yes. Okay. So my colleague was asking me here. So my colleague was asking me here about CPIP. Now, if you are from logistics background, you will be very familiar with the term CPIP. Now, CPIP comes for Dubai Municipality Cosmetic Products and Supplements, Perfumes, all these category. If you are bringing a cosmetic supplement, perfumes, or disinfectants, after registration, when your shipment is coming, you need to take a CPIP. Just like that, if you're bringing a food product, you need to take FIRS. We will have another session for Dubai Municipality registration in a few weeks, and we will discuss in detail regarding that. For today, we will cover all the scope under Ministry of Health. Yes. So, like I said, under EDE, we have a lot of products comes under scope. Now, I would like to stick on to the very common products under MOHAP. First one is medical device. Any product you name it, whether it's a syringe, a stethoscope, or a complex device like a kidney dialysis machine or a heart lung machine, X-ray, all these products comes under the scope of medical devices. Even the dental products or the derma related products, maybe you would have seen the derma fillers that people use, that is also a medical device. Basically, any product that is used to diagnose or treat human beings are defined as medical devices. All kind of medical devices comes under the scope of MAHAP. The second category is conventional medicine. By conventional medicine, we mean that over the counter medicine we buy from the pharmacies, the medicines. And the third category is general sale list. In short, we call it GSL. Now, what is GSL is a common inquiry that we always used to get. GSL you can consider as a chemical bait, for example, that is used, that is applied on the skin to peel off the skin. Now, these products are not really cosmetic products because those product has a penetration inside the body. Again, that is not a medical device because it doesn't have a deep penetration. So such products falls under the scope of GSL. Or maybe you can consider biotin tablet. Under Dubai Municipality, like I said earlier, health supplements falls under the category of Dubai Municipality. But Dubai Municipality has limitations to the amount of supplements you can give. For example, biotin. You can only register biotin up to 2000 mcg under Dubai Municipality. But if a supplement is having a concentration of biotin more than 2000 microgram, that falls under the category of emerge under general sale list. The next category is herbal products. Most of us will be aware of these products like ashwagandha, shilajit, and lion's mane. These products comes under the category of herbal products. So while you're bringing up products to market, you might don't know whether it's a medical, whether it's a GSL or herbal. So mostly this confusion arises between GSL and herbal. So that is where emerge classification comes into picture. For registration, whatever your product be, whether it's a medical, medicine, or herbal, we always starts with emerge classification. Now, after classification, it is followed by two steps. That is manufacturer registration and product registration. In the upcoming slides, we will see what classification, site registration, and product registration is. Yes. Now, classification. Any product that you are intending to bring, we always start with classification of the product. I will name classification as showing the regulatory pathway to the market. If you are unsure about where your product belongs, what is the risk class of the product, whether it's a GSL or whether it's a herbal, we always proceed with MOH classification. So classification, basically MOH will help us to understand what is the risk class of the device, what will be the, it is done based on the composition, use and design. Now, the documents required for classification, I cannot tell you like, see, these are the 5 documents that is required for classification. No, it varies. If you are dealing with a medicine, the documents required varies from the documents required for a medical device. Now, within a medical device, say like you are dealing with a surgical gown, the documents vary for a surgical gown and a derma filler that you're going to use. So, but I have listed a few set of document that is mandatory for classification. The first and foremost is a drugstore license. That is, just like how you have a mainland license, you need a drugstore license from MOHAP to start with any kind of business you wanted to do with medical devices and medicines. The second is an authorization letter. You need an authorization letter from the manufacturer stating your company as a distributor in UAE. Then you will need common documents like product catalog, registration certificates in other countries, what is the composition of the product, what are the ingredients inside it. Now, these are very basic set of documents you will need. The timeline is 10 working days and the cost is 500 dirhams. Now, all the costs that I'll be talking about are the charges imposed by MOHAP. Now, what happens after classification? Once you do classification for any product, based on the risk class, MOH will provide you with the classification letter. If in the classification letter, MOH states that clearance under Ministry of Health and Prevention, that means your product falls under less risk category and you can proceed with import of the product. Whereas if MOH states that should be registered as medical device or should be registered as conventional medicine, that means that you have to proceed further with registration. You cannot still start your shipment at this stage. You need to complete the complete registration procedure to start with the shipment. To sum it up, you proceed with classification first with the documents that is required. Once you do classification, based on the risk category of the product, you either get a clearance or they ask you to register further. This is when during registration, MOH will tell you how the product should be registered, whether it should be conventional, medical, or GSL. I can see somebody raised their hands. Yes, yes, Mr. Babuji, please ask.
Yeah, are we talking about getting classification done only if you have a drugstore? Is that a compulsory? I think it is
Yes.
not.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Good question. It is not mandatory to have a drugstore license for classification. You can still do an individual classification using any mainland license or even an Emirates ID. Now that will be individual classification request. This particular classification will help you to understand what is a regulatory pathway. That is, it will help you to understand whether site registration and product registration is mandatory. Plus, it shows you the regulatory pathway and what is the risk of the product. But when it comes to import, you will require a drugstore license again.
No, I definitely agree with you. To import, you need a drugstore. To classify,
Yes.
the classification done for a GSL product, whether it is a product which is requiring to be registered by MOH or not, can be done by any free zone company sitting here
Yes.
as a pharmaceutical company. You can have your license. You can open an account on the system of the what is called municipality. I think that is
Yes.
fair, right? That could be done.
Yeah.
Yes, as
Yes,
you right.
exactly. Yes,
That's
not at a municipality, under MOHAP. But again, you don't even need a license. You can do that by using any Emirates ID,
lovely,
not
man.
just license. Yes. No, yeah, that is called individual classification. Now that is feasible. Just like you said, if you are having a general sales product, you're having a supplement and you want to know what the categories. In such cases, you don't require a drugstore license. You can simply use any Emirates ID or any license that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, actually, the classification is the only tool that will provide which category our products need to register, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if maybe my products need a classifications revealed that my products needed the registration. So the
Mhm.
second step is the registration. So I
Yes.
will collect all the documents from the manufacturer side and my side, but it's needed the store should be registered under MOHAP, right?
Yes, exactly. After classification, if registration is needed, there are two steps involved, not single one. And like you said, a license is mandatory for this step.
Okay. So the classification is the first step for any of the product registration or whatever.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Shall I move on?
Shana, individual classification needs trade license for further registration.
So if you're proceeding with further steps, step number 2 and 3, you need a trade license. Like drugstore license is mandatory. For classification, drugstore license is not mandatory.
Individual.
Yeah, individual can be done. Okay. So if a product needs complete registration, the next step number 2 is manufacturer site registration and MH registration. Manufacturer site means, say, like the country of origin for your product is in Korea, you need to register that particular manufacturing site in Korea. If your manufacturing site is already registered, you may use that certificate and proceed with step number 3. That is manufacturer site registration. The second term is MAH. MAH means market authorization holder. That is the party who is holding the product. In certain cases, manufacturer and MAH is same. There are also cases in which manufacturer and MAH is different. Now the timeline is nearly 30 working days and the MOHAP fee is 10,000 dirhams. This is a one-time procedure. Say like you are purchasing up to 10 products from the same manufacturer, you have to do manufacturing site registration just once. Now for the from product number 2 until 10, you can directly, after classification, you can directly go to product registration. And one more point, if you are very sure that your product falls under so and so category, you can even skip classification. But it is recommended to do classification if you are unsure about what is the category of your product. Now the last stage is product registration. Under the document requirements for both manufacturer registration and product registration, it varies. It varies whether it's a medical device or whether it's a medicines, and it varies on the type of medical devices. So it is not one set of documents. It varies depending on your product. Now, during product registration, if you see MOHAP website, you will see a fees of only AED 5,000. However, I have written over here, it's approximately 10,000. The reason is there is multiple steps involved in product registration. First, you do initial document analysis. The fees is nearly 5,100 dirhams. After that, not for all kind of products, but depending on the product, there will be something called QC analysis and price regulation. So that is done after initial analysis. If it is a device, there will not be any QC analysis or price regulation. But if it is a medicine or of the fillers that goes, or you may say any product that goes inside the body, there will be QC analysis and price regulation. QC analysis means you will have to submit the composition report, the quality control documents to MOHAP. MOHAP will require so and so number of samples. You will submit those samples to the MOHAP QC lab and they will provide you with the QC document. And there is price regulation, which means MOH will decide what will be the price of the product in the market. It's not like MOH decides the final price. No, You propose a particular price based on, the Yosef price, retail and wholesale price. Now, based on the other competitive products in the market, MOH will provide you a price. So that is price regulation. Price regulation doesn't apply to all kind of products. MOH will, during your process of registration, MOH will tell you whether a price regulation and QC analysis is needed. So the approximate cost will be 10,000 dirhams. A QC analysis might cost you 3,000 dirhams and price regulation nearly 1,000 dirhams. So this is an approximate cost. Any questions, team, on site registration and product registration? Great. So I'll move on with the next slide. So far we have seen what to do once you have a product. You do classification. If it's a clearance, the procedure is complete. You go with import permits. If it's a registration, you do manufacturer registration and site registration. Okay, just a minute, team. Yes, good question. Registration is valid for 5 years. Classification is valid for 3 years. Site registration and product registration is 5 years. After completing 5 years, you have to renew. The price, the document requirements is exactly the same thing. You will have to renew it after 5 years. Now, emerge import permits. Once registration or classification is complete, we start with import permits. So before your shipment starts from country of origin, we take initial import permit. The application fee is around 100 dirhams. Timeline is 2 to 3 working days. You will have to present your classification or registration letter and invoice details at this time. Once you get your initial import permit, the shipment can start from country of origin. Once a shipment reaches here in UAE, you will have to take shipment clearance permit. The fees is 1% of total invoice and timeline is 2 working days. Once you receive your shipment clearance permit, you are free to import products. So that's it. That is how we do registration. We talked about license. We talked about what will be the registration procedure and import permits. Any questions, team?
Yeah, registration of products we have discussed, but then we have not discussed about what the dossier contains.
Sorry?
What is the dossier requirement of the dossier, and is
Yes.
very important to
Understood.
understand dossiers are not up to the standard of what you require, and you will be continuing to do the registration for lifetime.
Yes, I'll tell you. Yeah, correct. Just a minute. Like I said in the previous slide, the dossier. So, for those who don't know what does it is, those is a set of document that we submit to the authority. Now, the dossier varies. From a medical device to a medicine, the dossier varies. If you are from a regulatory background, you will be familiar with the term modules. So, for medicines, we have set of modules that must be presented to MOH. Now, your very basic requirement, not a basic requirement, like the most important criteria to register any product is that if your product is CE marked or at least FDA cleared, the registration in UAE will be way easier. But there are certain set of documents. I will speak in terms of medical devices. There are set of documents that is mandatory. The first one will be the free sale certificate from the country of origin. It is mandatory that this particular product that you are registering is registered in the country of origin. The second will be the CE certificate, or if you don't have a CE, you will need an FDA certificate and registration in other countries. There are some MOHAP preferred countries, MOHAP preferred countries where if your product is registered, your application is strong. Now, if you are dealing with any product that is having actives, then you will need an ingredient report or the composition report. If the product is, like I said, if the product requires QC analysis, you will need all the documents that is related to quality control. Then, just like any other application, you will need your product catalog, the manuals, the reports, or how the product works, IFU leaflets. So these are set of dossiers. If you have any specific product in mind, and if you want to know what are the exact set of documents that is required, you can contact us. We will provide you with what will be the exact list of documents that is needed.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi. I have a question regarding the market authorization holder. So, the market authorization holder, of course, it can be the manufacturer. Apart from the
Mhm.
manufacturer, it can be the drugstore or the company buying the product from the manufacturer. Correct, if I'm not wrong. Or it can be the
No,
3PL also.
no, it's not the party who is buying the product. The party who is buying the product here is either called distributor or authorized representative in UAE. Authorized representative means you are representing that manufacturer in UAE. Market authorization holder is the company that holds that has a right to the product. So if you see a free sale certificate means that's a certificate issued by the competent authority in the country of origin saying that your product is free to sell. To which company the free sale is issued, that company is in most cases the market authorization holder for that particular product. So there are scenarios where they are same. There are also scenarios where the MAH is different from manufacturer.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes. Nation, how to find out a certain product is considered a medical item. So the answer is you can do classification to understand whether it's a medical item or not. Say there are certain devices, especially derma related products which might be used for fat reduction or laser therapy. There are certain devices that is not exactly under the scope of MAHAP. In such cases, you can do classification. If you receive a clearance, that is a medical device. If not, they will give you classification letter mentioning that the product is not under the scope of MOHAP. In such cases, mostly the product will falls under the scope of Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology. So classification is the answer. If you can simply use your Emirates ID, create an account in the portal, and can do the classification to see what is the category before importing them. I hope you're clear. Any other questions, team? Okay. Thank you. Yes. Mm. Yeah. So we talked that a drugstore license is mandatory to do the process. Now, what is a drugstore and how it is different from a pharmacy? People often get confused with this step. Pharmacy is a retail space where you sell your pharmaceutical products, whereas a drugstore is a space which is a license that is mandatory if you are into import, registration, selling, or distribution of any kind of pharmaceutical or medical products in UAE. So that is where you need a drugstore license from MOHAP. Now, before setting up your drugstore, there are certain things that you need to clarify in the beginning. That is, what are the type of products that you will be selling in your company? For example, you are only going to deal with medical equipments. In that case, you need a drugstore for medical devices. If you are going to proceed with medicines or any product or even GSL or herbal category, in such cases, you will require a drugstore with medicines. Now, if you are unsure about what will be your products in the future, it is always advisable to take a drugstore for medicines. So there is only a slight difference between taking these two licenses. So it is always advisable to go for drugstore with medicines. Now, what the first step will be to identify a proper suitable location for your line of business. You'll have to find a space and ensure that that space complies with MOHAP requirements to set up a drugstore. Now, anyone who is experienced in setting up the drugstore will be able to help you in finding a location and to help you with understanding whether the facility is compliant or not. Then, just like how you start any business, you will have to do Ijari registration, initial approval, and trade name reservation. Initial approval from MOHAP. There will be multiple inspection from MOHAP during this procedure. You will have to do all the maintenance of the shop, whether if you need an air conditioning, painting, other accessories, that is whatever is required for that particular facility. Like I said, if you are going to proceed with the medicine, you should hire a pharmacist. If you are only sticking to a medical devices, then you can hire a licensed biomedical engineer as well. You'll also need to obtain a certificate from civil defense, and final MOHAP. After final MOHAP inspection, certificate will be provided. If you have any questions, I have my manager, Mr. Maher, here. He'll be very happy to assist you. Any questions, team, regarding MOHAP drugstore, or if you are in the process and you require some advice, please let us know.
Yeah, I have one.
Mm-hmm.
This is regarding the trade license. So
Okay.
is that mandatory to mention the activity in the trade license of the company as pharmaceutical storage before you are going for the final license of MOHAP?
Mr. Maha, can you please help me?
Hi, how are you? Can you please repeat the
Right.
question, please?
See, when we are going for the final license from Ministry of Health after the initial approval, we need to submit the trade license also, if I'm not wrong, the trade license of the company.
Yes,
So
sure.
in that, do we need to mention the activity as a pharmaceutical storage? Is that mandatory or not?
Depends of which medical store you need. You need medicine store,
Medicine,
so
medicine
it will be medicine store. We need to mention in the license, yes, drugstore in the license
in the trade license.
for sure. And you cannot get the license without to have the certificate from the MOH to the ED to have the drugstore inside the activity inside the trade license.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions, team? Moving on, here I have a few commonly asked questions. So, this is a very most commonly asked question. What will be the total cost in setting up a drugstore? Now, the charges, it varies. We cannot provide you and say it costs so and so. No, the charges vary. It depends on your store requirements. What are your requirements in setting up the drugstore? Whether it's medical, medicine, what is the location, and what are the license activities? Now, if you're a distributor who's starting your business in UAE and you have trouble in investing to a drugstore now, we have a drugstore under our company. We will be able to help you with registration and import under our drugstore license. Also, if from for people mainly from the logistics point of view, if you're looking for an IOR EOR partner for MOH rated products, our drugstore license will be able to help you. Now, this is a question we discussed earlier. What are the documents, the dossier required for product registration process? Like we said, the documents vary depending upon the category, the intended use, and the risk classification. Here at NextMove, we have a team of pharmacist and engineer, and we'll be able to guide you through what are the document requires. If you have any questions or concern regarding what are the documents needed, you may contact us. We are very happy to help you with that. And this is another most common inquiry we used to get. What are the requirements for importing the product for the purpose of re-export? Now, if you're importing some medical products to UAE for re-export via air to air, there is no, you can simply do that without any permit from MOHAP, but that depends on the nature of your product. However, if you're planning to bring goods to UAE, store it in a free zone facility, and then re-export based on the requirements. You will need a re-export license from MOHAP plus good storage and distribution practice from MOHAP. Yes. So that's it, team. Like we discussed, if you're someone looking for to set up your business or to set up a drugstore from to classify or to register your products during the shipment, custom clearance, import or import permit, we'll provide the entire end-to-end service so that you don't have to depend on multiple people for these services. We provide all these services under one company. Our next session will be on Dubai Municipality Consumer Product Registration. We will announce the date in few days. Yes, that's it about the whole session. If you have any questions, we can discuss it now.